It's showtime.
Hey everyone, Django Fett here. So this is going to be the final list for this year, and I'm going to be doing two lists for this video, and that is the top 5 best movies of 2021 and the top 5 worst movies of 2021. So let's start with the best movies of 2021 with the honorable mentions. So the first one being Monster Hunter Legends of the Guild, awesome Netflix movie that was a faithful adaptation. Highly recommend you check out my review for that. The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf, an awesome animated movie that is just captures the Witcher essence completely, and discovers the origin of Vesemir, which is somebody we don't really know much about, and puts him to light. And just an excellent story overall, and we want more of this, Netflix, not so much the elf bullshit that they're promoting in the future. And then Shang-Chi Legend of the Ten Rings, just a fantastic and fun action movie that, hopefully Marvel does more of this, and not so much of Iron Fist. This is how you do martial arts, not the Iron Fist dog shit. Alright, so starting off with number 5, I have to say it's Suicide Squad, or The Suicide Squad, whatever you want to call it. And directed by James Gunn, and this was a fun rated R action romp with the whole new cast of Suicide Squad members, minus Harley Quinn and Boomerang, and I guess a few others as well. But this was great. It was a fun little romp of a rated R version of this Suicide Squad, and just a lot of fun action. John Cena was in this, was actually pretty good. Idris Elba was great. Harley Quinn, great as always, and it's going to be interesting to see what they'll do in the future with this. I think they're going to have a Peacemaker with John Cena TV series, which should be interesting. I don't know how that one's going to work out, or a sequel to this, how that's going to work out. Really enjoyed this movie, and excited to see if James Gunn will also do, a future Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie, because I've been waiting for that for ages. So hopefully they come back to terms with Disney, and he can do a third movie and just finish up that Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, because we desperately need that. Coming in number 4 is Spider-Man Far From Home. Long anticipated Spider-Man conclusion to the Tom Holland series, and fantastic. Really fantastic movie with Spider-Man and possibly others along this multiverse of sorts, involving Doctor Strange and others along the way. I'm just going to say that. And just really fun, and if you have nostalgia for the old Spider-Man movies, you're going to have a lot of fun with this. Coming in number 3 is No Time to Die. And for some reason, I completely forgot about this movie, but I love this movie. This is a great action movie that wraps up Daniel Craig as James Bond, and I think it's possibly the best James Bond ever, and I've never really gotten into James Bond at all. Only through Daniel Craig's James Bond, and Casino Royale is still my favorite movie by far, but this is great action, and I just love the James Bond type of films out there with action and intrigue and romance and all this other stuff that is associated with James Bond. And I would have loved to see Idris Elba in the future as James Bond, because he would kick ass as James Bond, but he's getting up there in age, and just some people are just racist about it, or whatever. I love this movie. It's great. I love No Time to Die, and can't wait to own this on Blu-ray. So coming in at number 2, I had to bring my Funkos for this, and that's Dune. So Denis Villeneuve just does it again with his movies, and just was a perfect guy to do this. He truly understands Dune, and it just blew me away. And while the ending leaves much more to be desired, and they could have done a little bit more, maybe even made it to 3 hours, to be honest. But for what they did, it's phenomenal. It really follows the events of the book, and it actually really inspired me to actually watch the 1984 Dune, and to read this one, the classic Dune book. Quite a long book, and I'm almost practically done this, guys. I'm almost done reading this book, and I'm going to be doing a review for this for sure. I love this. I love the Dune universe. I am all in, and I actually got the other 2 books with me too. I got 3 books already, Dune Messiah and Children of Dune, and I'm going to be reading these, man. I am all into the Dune universe. I find it super interesting that in the future that you have like this really cool religious themes and revolving around leaders and technology and the lack of robots. Yes, that's there's a purpose behind that. I mean, you have to read the books to get behind that. But it's a really fascinating future and aesthetic that Denis Villeneuve put out there in his movie, and I love the portrayals of all the different characters. They got the writing down great, and they changed a little things based on the book, but overall, this movie was fucking awesome. I loved this movie. And I was actually pretty late to watch this movie, but I managed to watch it, and I loved it. I am now a Dune fan, and once I finish this, I'm going to be doing a review, but so far, I am loving it. So, can't wait to get into more of Dune and see how they'll do with a Dune 2 and finish up the event of Dune, of this book, because Dune 1 is the first half of this, Dune 2 will be the second half of this, and then Dune 3 will be Dune Messiah. So, I'm excited, man. I'm down for this, and hopefully they do more Dune stuff, because I know they're doing a Dune TV series as well. So I'm excited for the future of Dune, and Dune, just phenomenal, and I can't wait for more. So coming in at number 1, I am shocked that people have not talked about this movie at all. Revolving around some reviewers with their top 10 lists. For some reason, they just ignored this movie like the plague for some reason, even though it came out earlier this year and there wasn't really much that came out. And that's number 1 is Judas and the Black Messiah. My God, this is a just phenomenal movie, and it actually inspired me to get this bad boy as well, the assassination of Fred Hampton, which is based off. So it follows the events of Fred Hampton, and his, the events that came with his assassination, and revolving around the FBI, and it's all true. It's all fucking true. He was a leader of the Black Panther Party in the Chicago district, and the FBI didn't like what he was putting out there, and people were listening to what he was saying, and he was a really intriguing and compelling leader, and they killed him. They fucking killed him. And this movie shows that, and shows the events that lead up to him, and really show the Black Panthers as not like this super violent and ultra violent party that the media puts out there. They're not like that. No, this is the polar opposite, and while there are some violent parts, yes, I get it, the Black Panthers are anything but that. And this movie shows that. It shows you a true light to the Black Panthers and Fred Hampton, and the main character is actually the FBI agent who would deceive the Black Panthers in the end, and betray Fred Hampton and the party. And towards the end, the very end of this movie is just absolutely heart-wrenching and just punch you in the fucking gut and leave you hopeless. But goddamn was I not compelled by this movie, and it inspired me to actually buy this novel and read upon the history of Fred Hampton and actually discover the true history behind him. For people leaving this out of their list, I have no fucking clue. I have no idea why in the world they would leave this out. But this was just amazing movie. It came out on HBO Max, one of the first movies out there. People want to talk about Godzilla vs. Kong. This is my mega hit that came out. And so now let's get into the worst movies of 2021. Starting in with number 5. Venom 2. What the fuck were they thinking with this shit? As much as I was looking forward to Venom 2 and seeing what they were going with it, they didn't even have the same fucking director and producing crew from Venom 1. I thought it was dead in the water, and I thought it would be an absolute failure, but I was fucking wrong. It was actually a pretty decent movie, and actually really funny, and it was directed by the guy who did Zombieland, Ruben Fleischer. And for some reason, he wasn't involved. Instead, it was Andy Serkis. And this was just a stupid action movie that involved Carnage in a dumb fucking way. They messed up his fucking origins. And the fight was just so fucking terrible between Venom and Carnage. And it was just a prototypical action comic movie, and it was just terrible. And now I'm seeing that Andy Serkis, he did Mowgli, and now he's done Venom 2. He's not a good director, I must say. He's a phenomenal motion capture actor. He's a great actor. But as for directing movies, he can't direct worth shit. And for people giving him these directing roles, like, just stop. Okay, he's going to fail, and so far, from what I'm seeing, it's shown. Venom 2 is the nail in the coffin for me. I don't believe a damn thing that Andy Serkis can direct anymore at this point. And we'll see what other movies he's going to be involved with, and movies that I will stay far away from. Coming in number 4 is Mortal Kombat. I wasn't really expecting much. I'm not a big Mortal Kombat guy, I must say. Not really big into the series. But, you know, the first Mortal Kombat movie was something that I watched and I actually kind of enjoyed, even though it was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, and I thought it was fine, I guess. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I've always had a soft heart for it. Yeah, that one's better than this movie. I'll just say that. That had more heart and soul, and this movie has none of that shit. It just has all the characters, and Liu Kang is just a fucking nobody, and the main character is like... I couldn't even tell you his fucking name. He was awful in this fucking movie. They focused on this fucking guy instead of Liu Kang being the main role. It just blows my fucking mind. And they got some things right, but mostly everything wrong with this movie. And it was just boring and flat, and the action was just not very good at all. So coming in number 3 is another video game adaptation. This one came out the year before, and I just watched it this year. And it's fucking terrible, and that's Monster Hunter. For some reason, they thought Paul W.S. Anderson and Monster Hunter with Mila Jovovich being the main role, they went from Resident Evil to fucking this, and they thought this was a good idea. But no, it was fucking shit. Mila Jovovich adds zero. Some things with monsters happens and involves guns, and it's just fucking awful and terrible, and they get nothing right with Monster Hunter at all, and they're deliberately setting up for future Monster Hunter movies, and just fuck you. Just don't fucking ruin this series any more than you already have, and just fucking stop. Coming in number 2, The Matrix Resurrections. How they thought this was a good idea, I have no fucking clue. But this was just a complete fucking disaster. And I get it. I watched Red Letter Media's video on it, and then I get the meta aspect of it, them making fun of themselves for even making this happen, the director behind it. But the Wachowskis, they just can't do it anymore. They're done. They're fucking done. They need to stop from Hollywood and just not be involved anymore at this point, because they don't fucking give a shit. And this movie shows. This movie is all about not giving a fucking shit. And this was just a colossal fucking mess. I'm glad that some of the actors did not get involved, and they like recast some of the actors involved, and Morpheus and stuff like that. And I'm not a big Matrix fan. The only thing I absolutely love with Matrix, and even more so than the movies, is Animatrix. I love Animatrix more so than Matrix 1, 2, and 3 combined. Like, I love Animatrix so much. I fucking love it. And I deliberately bought the Blu-ray. I don't have the Blu-ray in front of me. Just for the Animatrix, and it contains all 3 movies. I could give 2 shits about the other movies in favor of Animatrix. That's how much I fucking love Animatrix. One of these days, I have to review Animatrix. But Matrix Resurrections is a colossal waste of time and colossal piece of shit, and doesn't deserve your time or money. It just avoid it like the fucking plague. Just watch the old 3, and I get it, the other 2 are not that very good, but rewatch them. They're probably way better than this fucking piece of shit. So sorry about that, the video footage got cut off. But my number 1 worst movie of 2021 is another video game adaptation. It just keeps on, they keep making these terrible video game adaptations. For some reason this happened, and that is Dynasty Warriors. Just look at this. Whoever thought this was a good idea, I just fire them. Never have a job again, because this was just a fucking atrocious piece of shit movie that, I don't know, I watched Out of the Blue on Netflix, and it was just a colossal piece of shit on every fucking level. and I forgot about it, which is the best thing that is to happen for this movie, considering it's the #1 worst movie on my list for sure. And that's the best thing, that I completely forgot about it after a couple of days, which is the best thing to happen for me. So guys, that was my best and worst movies of 2021. Let me know yours in the comment section below. And the next video I'll be doing is my announcement video for what's to come for 2022. A lot of big things for sure. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to please like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel Django Fett if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.